In Miami facing possible deportation tonight after the Department of Homeland Security wants their case thrown out of court. Daniela and Pelaez came to the U.S. as toddlers and have been living in America ever since. Daniela became the face of the DREAM Act back in March when the high school valedictorian was almost deported back to her native Colombia. Florida Senator Marco Rubio intervened on her behalf, and President Obama, of course, announced last month that he wouldn't deport high school graduates who are in the country illegally. Both Daniela and her sister earned a 2-year reprieve from deportation, but now it appears that the Department of Homeland Security wants their appeal to stay in the country thrown out. Daniela and her attorney, Nera Shefer, are out front tonight, and appreciate both of you taking the time. Daniela, let me start with you. The letter from Homeland Security, obviously I have here the first page of it, talking about you and your sister Diana, the headline, in removal proceedings. What was your reaction when you got this? Did you even understand what it meant at first?
At first, I had no idea what it meant, and then I had coincidentally been with my lawyer at the same time, and she was able to explain to me how they were in opposition to our appeal.
And so explain to me, Nera, if you could, opposition to the appeal. I mean, I'm trying to put this, I mean, does this mean simply that the DHS would deport Daniela and Diana?
Well, not immediately. The 2-year reprieve that they want from ICE, which is another agency of the Department of Homeland Security, stands. It remains intact, so they still have here until March 2014. The problem is that the Department of Homeland Security, through its chief counsel locally in Miami, moved to request to the Board of Immigration Appeals that their appeal be dismissed. Basically, what they're requesting is that the deportation order entered by the immigration judge remains, that they affirm the decision of the immigration judge and they oppose to the relief. So that's where we stand, meaning that in 2 years from now, when the reprieve expires, they will have to leave.
Okay, so this basically what this means is in 2 years you're done. You got this, and you're going to have to leave. All right, so let me just give some context to viewers, because obviously this does fly in the face of the president's highly public defense of people exactly like Daniela. Here's what the president had to say.
Effective immediately, the Department of Homeland Security is taking steps to lift the shadow of deportation from these young people. Over the next few months, eligible individuals who do not present a risk to national security or public safety will be able to request temporary relief from deportation proceedings.
Now, Daniela, obviously you have temporary relief just those 2 years, but do you feel that the president is being hypocritical, saying that while his DHS sends you a letter saying as soon as your 2 years are over, you're done, you're out?
Exactly. That's the root of my frustration and my anger, because here you have the president who is your boss telling you not to interfere in any way with the legal proceedings of kids like myself. And yet the DHS's local office did something completely opposite of what your boss just finished saying.
Right, so the question is, does he really mean what he's saying? Nera, let me bring in David Leopold. He's an immigration attorney, and we called him because we're trying to understand this situation. David was the former president of the American Immigration Lawyer Association. So David, we called DHS. They refused to comment on Daniela's case, saying go call Immigrations and Customs, saying, look, there's been no action taken. So they sort of are trying to punt on the whole situation. But explain to me this. How can DHS send this letter, given what the president has said?
Erin, what they've done is they've filed a brief. Let me tell you something. Daniela is very lucky. She's an outstanding woman from everything I can see, and she's exactly the type of person that the president is protecting with the policy that he announced last month. I'm not sure I understand what she's complaining about and what her attorney's upset about. There is nothing that I've seen, nothing that I've read, which indicates that she's going to be out of the country in 2 years. Quite to the contrary. She's the first one. She got granted the reprieve in March. She's the first one, probably, in the country to get this. So they ought to be applauding President Obama in this great initiative.
All right, Nera, please respond.
Of course, and I disagree. Basically what's happening is that there's contradictions between what the president said and what the agencies of the Department of Homeland Security are doing. Clearly, the chief counsel in Miami is going against what the president said. They're basically saying in that brief, we are opposing to any relief that these sisters are seeking. Board of Appeals, don't even look.
That's absolutely not true. That's absolutely
Oh,
not
yes,
true.
it is.
I'm
You
sorry,
haven't read the brief.
with all due respect, what's going on here is you've got a legal position, and that's not going to change. You know, a lot of folks say that the president needs to follow the law, and the president is following the law. The government is following the law.
I'm sorry.
What's
But
going on here? Wait a minute,
said
hang
I'm not
on.
going to kick people out of the country
No,
if they're good citizens
exactly.
and graduate high school. And Daniela, but now they're saying in 2 years she has to leave. That does sound like
They're not saying
Erin,
that,
that's
though.
exactly,
Erin,
that's exactly the problem, Erin.
they're
That's
not
exactly
saying that.
the problem, because this is a policy and it's not a law. It's not been implemented correctly. A policy, a memo. There is a broken chain of communication in the Department of Homeland Security, because they have to implement the policy the way the president is saying. Prosecutorial discretion.
Actually, there's not a broken chain of communication. There's a good chain of communication. She got deferred action 2 months ago. Let me finish, please. She got deferred action 2 months ago. She's in a great position. She's going to go to Dartmouth in the fall. She's not going to get deported in 2 years. And let me tell you something. I think what we need, Erin, in this country right now is we need community leadership. We need people to explain what this policy really is. We don't need fear-mongering. And that's what's going on here tonight, unfortunately. As outstanding as Daniela is, she's not being well served by doing this. And I think that what we need to do is explain to our communities exactly what the president has done. This is a bold initiative, and a lot of young folks are going to benefit from this.
Erin,
the best and the brightest folks, just like Daniela. And I think the president ought to be applauded tonight.
All right, Nera, you can add, and then I want to ask something to Daniela.
Yes. Well, the law doesn't say that the Department of Homeland Security has to file a brief opposing and requesting the Board of Appeals to affirm the decision of the immigration judge. They could have chosen to let her fight for her case, and they did not.
All right, and Daniela, you're still going ahead and heading to college in the fall, right?
Yes, as of now, yeah.
All right, well, thanks very much.
She'll be in college in the fall. She's going to have a great future.
I appreciate all three of you.
Yeah, and then after 2 years, she's going to have to go back.
Not the case.
Thanks to all three of you. We have to leave it there.
Thank you.
Everyone have a wonderful